I don't know about you, I feel like October is an insanely busy month for me personally and with work and everything, but it's also been a really good sales month so far. However, in this video, we're going to be talking about what sold for me in the middle of September, so if you want to hear about that sales week, stay tuned.
Won't nobody love you the way they should. Won't nobody check up on you, make sure you're good. Won't nobody check those body tremors for your neck.
Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I'm a part-time reseller on a bunch of different reselling platforms, and in today's video I'm going to do one of my tried and true type of videos, which is a what sold video. And what that means is I'm going to be sharing everything that sold for me in a particular week, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the week of September 12th through the 18th. Why? Because I'm still very behind, so trying to get caught up, but man, like I said earlier, October has just been crazy in my personal life, just with work and with all of my kids' activities, and man, I don't know, we just have a lot going on. So despite that, I am trying to get caught up, and despite that, I am making really consistent sales on my platform, so that makes me happy. But let's get right into what sold so that you can learn from me what's selling for a Midwesterner on platforms like Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, Citizen, etc. If that sounds interesting to you and you want to see more content like this, definitely don't forget to subscribe. And if you enjoy this video as you're watching it, if you learn anything, definitely make sure that you hit that like button. So let's start by talking about Monday, which was September 12th. The first thing to sell for me was over on Poshmark, and it was this Free People yellow crochet lace v-neck shirt in a size extra small. You know, I contemplated even listing this because it's basically a pretty simple t-shirt. There is some crochet detail on the back. You know, it is Free People, but it's not like just because something is Free People means that you're going to get a ton of money for it, especially if it's a very basic t-shirt like this. But I got it in a wholesale pallet that I purchased from a reseller, and my average cost of goods per item that I could sell was $3.92. And even though I knew I probably wasn't going to make a killing with this, I was like, I'll just go ahead and list it. It's a good filler item. You know, I'm sure it'll sell at some point. I listed it, and it actually got like a decent amount of activity. You know, there were a lot of people liking it, and I don't know, I was kind of surprised. I just thought that it would hang out in the online reselling universe and like no one would pay any attention to it, but it sold fairly quickly, probably within a month of it being listed, and it sold for $20. That was just an offer that someone sent me. I accepted. I again had $3.92 into it. So once you factor in Poshmark's 20% fees and my cost of goods, my profit on that very simple t-shirt was $12.16. I've made far less on items that I was far more excited about, so I'll take it. On eBay, I sold this new with tags Polo Sport Ralph Lauren blue nylon 90s Y2K fold-over wallet. It was vintage. I tried to pack in as many keywords as I could into that listing title. This is kind of the opposite of that Free People shirt in that when I picked it up, I was convinced that this thing was going to sell instantaneously and for good money. I've had it for months at this point. Like, it's probably been listed for close to a year by now, and it did get a lot of attention, but it just did not sell very quickly. I probably had it listed too high. I think I had it listed for, actually, I think I had it listed for like 75, maybe a little bit. How much did I have this listed for? Now I don't even know. It sold for $64.99 on eBay, and it's saying that it sold through promoted listings and with a 20% off sale that I had going on. I don't think my sale had started yet though, because I don't think that I had this listed for more than $64.99. I'm pretty sure I had it listed for $65. And that was more than its retail price, but like, you know, it was indicated in the listing title, this is vintage. It's, you know, from the 90s, and it still had the tags, and so I knew I could sell it for more than what it had been listed at when it was brand new back in the 90s, because, you know, this is a new with tags item that is definitely desirable at this point. People love the spell out stuff. And so I was really excited when I found it at a local consignment store. It was during one of their like 75% off clearance sales. So I got it for $3.50. I usually don't look in their like wallet or bag section because usually that stuff is priced a little too high, but I thought this was a really great sale. Super excited about it. So I made a profit of $53.18 on that wallet when all was said and done. done. Very excited about that, and excited to like finally move it after I thought it was going to move within like a few days of being listed. That wasn't the case, but I'm still very happy about the sale. The next item to sell was this Jude Connolly red and blue print Sloan collared sheath dress in a size small. This sold for $50, and I had $14.39 into this. I don't remember where I got this. I don't know why. It must have been from like a pop-up consignment sale or something. I think it was. It sold fairly quickly on eBay. It wasn't listed for very long, and I made a profit of $29.36. Jude Connolly is a great brand. It's kind of similar to J. McLaughlin in my opinion. They have like a very similar jersey knit fabric that they use, and it's very similar in style. Very classic, kind of preppy. Yeah, I feel like it's a very similar clientele, and the prices are kind of similar as far as what you can get retail. A dress similar to this by J. McLaughlin, you probably can get a little bit more for, but $50 for a used dress, I think that's a pretty good brand to be on the lookout for. The next thing to sell was this new with tags pair of Ann Taylor Lindsay beige mid-rise dress pants in a size 6. These sold for $11.90, and I like screamed hallelujah when these sold because they have been listed forever. They were something that I picked up at a local consignment store over 2 years ago at this point. I had 80 cents into them because I was shopping in bulk at the time, and my average cost of goods for those trips was 80 cents a piece. And so my profit on those pants after waiting just a little over 2 years was $8.11. I really don't pick up 99% of the Ann Taylor and Loft that I find at thrift stores and consignment stores anymore because it's just very heavily saturated on reselling platforms, and I typically cannot fetch any more than like $10, $15 for anything by those brands, with the exception of maybe like coats or I don't know, cashmere sweaters, things of that nature. But for the most part, even if things are brand new with tags like this was, you're just not going to get that much for a resale. The next day of sales that we'll talk about is Tuesday, which was September 13th. On eBay, I sold this skirt by the brand GILI, which I guess stands for Got It, Love It. Where do you even find a brand like this? I don't know. It came to me in that wholesale palette. So I had $3.92 into it. The skirt itself, it was this champagne colored vegan leather pencil skirt in a size 12 petite. Because the skirt was like nice. I don't know. Like, I mean, you know, I feel like leather and vegan leather, it's a very classic look, and it was a pencil skirt. You could wear it to work. It was in a bigger size. I was like, I'll just list it. Like, I've never heard of this brand. The brand name sounds very cheap, but I was like, we'll just see what we can do. So I think I listed it for like $25 or $30. I sent out offers to watchers on this for $21.90, which someone accepted. $3.92 into the skirt. I don't know why I only ended up making a profit of $8.61, but that's what ended up happening. Maybe I didn't charge enough for shipping. I don't know, but I made the sale, happy to make it. And, you know, now I can put that $8.61 into inventory that I'm a little bit more excited about and not as baffled by the brand name. Got it, love it. I don't get it. On Mercari, I had a really good Mercari day. Actually, I sold 3 things. The first being this pair of Joe's jeans. It was the mini style, and they were the mini skinny jeans in a size 30. I don't typically pick up Joe's jeans at the thrift just because I feel like even though it retails for a ton, it doesn't resell for a lot. But I picked these up at a local consignment store because it was during their birthday sale, and everything that I bought that day came out to an average cost of goods of $2.52 because similar to my bulk buying consignment experience, the birthday sale, it's you find all the stuff that you want and you shove it into those little shopping bags, like little plastic bags, but each bag was like $25, and if you get a lot shoved into those bags, that cost of goods is not very much per item, and that day my cost of goods was $2.52. These jeans sold for $20. I still made a profit of $14.60, so I was really happy about that. The next thing to sell on Mercari was this pair of LL Bean black bean lace-up ankle boots in a size 7. They were waterproof, and I remember when I picked these up at the Seattle Goodwill bins this past summer, I kept looking for an indication that they were duck boots because I know that duck boots by LL Bean can do really well. But the only thing that I could see was it would say bean boots. So I was like, oh, too bad that they're not the duck boots. And when I did my comps search, I just kept searching LL Bean boots because again, that's what it seemed like they were called. That's what it said on the boot itself. But when I did my haul video of stuff that I got at the Seattle bins, one of you, just a wonderful viewer, left a comment saying, those bean boots are actually duck boots. They just call them bean boots, but they're duck boots. And so I probably could have priced them a little bit higher had I searched for comps for LL Bean duck boots, but it's fine. I, listed them for maybe $50, $60. They sold for $40, which, even when I did look for comps for LL Bean duck boots, 40 was maybe on the lower end of comps, but they were pretty comparable to recent solds. And so I let them go for 40. That was an offer that had been sent to me. I only had $2.50 into them because I got them at the bins. So I still made a profit on those boots of $32.04. And I've been really pleased because a lot of the items that I picked up at the Seattle bins have been selling, and they've been selling for great money. And that's what we love to see. The next thing and last thing to sell on Mercari this day was a pair of Versona. I've never heard of the brand, but I got it in a buyout that I did from a local reseller, so I just went ahead and listed them. But it was this pair of modern houndstooth straight leg mid-rise pants in a size 4. I listed them pretty low, probably for $18 or $20. They sold for $12. That was an offer that I got on Mercari, and I very happily accepted because I figured this was one of those things that I would sit on for years because again, I just wasn't familiar with the brand, didn't know how desirable they were. So because I only had $1.02 into those pants, I made a profit of $9.13. Not too bad for a brand that I figured was a no-namer and that, I just thought I'd be sitting on for a long time. The next day of sales was actually my birthday. It was September 14th, which was a Wednesday. On Poshmark, I sold this Lululemon Free to Be Wild blue strappy sports bra in a size 8. This I got as part of that wholesale pallet, so I had $3.92 into it. It sold for $31 with discounted shipping because of a Chrome extension that I use called Posher VA. I do have a link for it down in the description below if you're interested with my coupon code and all that stuff. But I made a profit of $19.16 on that. And I believe it was missing one of the bra cups, but it still sold for $31, and I did not have it listed for very long at all. It's been a while since I've tried selling a Lululemon sports bra, so it was good to see that they can still fetch a decent amount of money. The next thing to sell was this pair of Judy Blue Relaxed Fit mid-rise jeans in a size 3. Judy Blue is definitely one of my favorite denim brands to sell. It sells so fast for me. It always sells for at least $35, but sometimes I can get $40, $50 for them, and I find it pretty frequently in my area. It's a popular brand being worn by people who live near me, so I love that it's a brand that I have easy access to, and it sells pretty well and very consistently online. So this particular pair sold for $40. I had $11 into them, I think maybe from a local Plato's Closet, and I made a profit of $32. Love to see it. On eBay, I sold this new with tags Adidas Performance red sleeveless jersey top in a women's size medium. This sold for $18 on eBay. I'm saying that I had 80 cents into it from that local consignment store when I shopped in bulk with them over 2 years ago. I actually just don't remember where this came from. So I think it's from there. I know I've had it listed forever. I don't know where else I would have gotten it. This is not the type of thing that I would have picked up at a thrift store, but if it were, under $1, I think I would have taken a chance on it. So I'm just assuming that that's where it's from. So I made a profit of $15.02 on that. On Mercari, I sold this pair of Keen tan slip-on hiking shoes with the bungee cord. These were not the hiking sandals that I always sell and talk about, but they were more like hiking boots almost in a youth size 2. These sold for $20. I had $4.99 into them from a local thrift store, so I made a profit of $12.13. They didn't sell for, maybe as much as I would have liked, but I knew that they would sell quickly. Keen is just one of those really respected and well-known brands when it comes to outdoor shoe wear, especially for people who like to go hiking, camping, those sorts of things. Keen is just a really trusted brand for that. So most Keen I will pick up if it is priced reasonably, even if it's not in the best condition. It does not matter. It will sell. On September 15th, which was a Thursday, I had a really great sales day. I actually sold 2 bundles on Poshmark, which I feel like there was a period when I was selling a ton of bundles, and that period has passed. It's not, I don't know, I don't sell a lot of bundles recently. I'm sure there are things I could be doing to sell more bundles, but I don't know, it's just not something that I think about. But the first bundle to sell on Poshmark had 2 pieces in it. I kind of call it the linen bundle because both pieces were linen pieces. The first was this vintage Chico's 100% linen embroidered, and I said Asian style shirt jacket because the buttons had kind of an Asian flair. I don't know. Even the embroidery, it just seemed very Asian inspired. It was in a size 12 and I had $2 into that item. I'm trying to remember where I got it that I only had $2 into it. Oh, it was from a women's bulk thread up rescue box. It was a 100-pound rescue box or something like that. So that's where I got that item. And then the next item to sell in this bundle was this J. Jill Love Linen Coral Button-Up Tunic Shirt in a size small petite. This one I also had $2 into, but this one came from a consignment store when they were doing a huge clearance sale. So this bundle sold for $45. My cost of goods for both items was $4, and I made a profit of $32. I believe that $45 bundle sale was from an offer that someone sent me, but I was very happy to accept it, especially because both pieces I had listed for a decent amount of time. The next bundle had 2 items that, it was a little bit more random of a bundle. It wasn't 2 linen pieces or anything like that. But the first item to sell was this J. Crew Factory blue and white striped button-up long sleeve shirt in a size large. This one I had $3 into, I think from a men's thread-up rescue box. And the second item was this vintage Northern Isles rag wool shawl collar pullover sweater in a men's size medium. This was part of the reseller buyout that I purchased from a local reseller. So I only had $1.02 into it. This bundle sold for $46, which is very similar in price to the last bundle. I had $4.02 into this bundle, which my cost of goods is very similar to the last bundle as well. So I made a profit of $32.78 on those 2 pieces. And those pieces were listed for a decent amount of time, but I, was able to make some good money on those pieces, and I would happily list those 2 items again. The next item to sell was this pair of pants by Jules and Leopold. I think this is one of those TJ Maxx type brands. It was this black floral print pair of mid-rise pants, kind of like pants that you'd wear to the office or something. They sold for $12. I was very happy to get $12 for it just because, I don't think this is a very desirable brand, but it was part of that wholesale palette. So I had $3.92 into it, and I made a profit of $5.13. Not the killing that we're looking to make, but I was happy to make my money back and then some. The next few sales came from eBay. The first sale being this pair of Clark's gray tartan mid-leather lace-up walking shoes in a size 9.5W. I don't know what a lot of that meant, but it doesn't matter. So these sold for $44.99. That was, I believe, my full asking price. I had $9.99 into these from a Goodwill in the Chicago suburbs near where my mother and father-in-law live. I picked these up because when I looked up comps, they looked pretty good. However, when I got them home, I noticed that they smelled very strongly of smoke. And so I actually kept them out in my garage. I sprayed them down with this stuff to try to get the odor out. And by the time they sold, they were definitely much less smelly. But I did put in the description that, the shoes had a cigarette smell. And the reason I put that is because I just wanted to be very upfront, and I didn't want to get a return because something, had a cigarette smell to it and I hadn't disclosed it. Some people don't care because maybe some people are smokers themselves, but you have to at least give them the opportunity to be like, ooh, I don't want these because I don't want something that smells like that. Like I said, I got most of the smell out, but just to make sure, that's what I did. That's what I would do if I were you. If you get something home and you're like, oh, I didn't know that this had this smell to it, I would just disclose it. And, surprisingly enough, you'll still get a buyer for it, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, on those shoes, I made a profit of $21.28. The next thing to sell was this Hot Gal that was the brand name. Again, I feel like maybe this is like a TJ Maxx, Marshalls type brand, but it was this scoop neck pullover sweater in a size large with like patches all over it. It looked very like teen oriented, something that you'd see in the junior section. It sold for $11.90. That was an offer that I sent out to watchers, and I had $1.02 into it from the local reseller buyout that I did many months ago at this point. So even though it was kind of a silly sweatshirt, I still made a profit of $11.57. I'll take it. So, list all of the things, even if you're like, this is slightly ridiculous. It'll probably still sell. The next thing to sell was the CQR Gears khaki ripstop cargo pockets tactical pants in a size 32 by 30. These I went ahead and listed, even though when I looked up comps, they were just very whatever, but they sold for $15.90. That was an offer that I sent out to watchers. So this was kind of a cool day because 2 out of the 3 items were things that sold due to offers to watchers. Let me know if you guys send out offers to watchers on eBay. I do find that I make like a decent number of sales through it. In fact, this week alone, I had 13 sales on eBay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, so almost half of them came from offers to watchers. The way that I know what is an offers to watchers sale versus just like a regular sale of someone making me an offer or something like that, maybe like I had a sale running, I will send offers to people ending in 90 cents. So even though I would have liked to send a $16 offer, I just do $15.90, and that's the indicator to me of, hey, if I make the sale, it was because of offers to watchers. Also, it's that psychology thing of like, yeah, $15.90. Obviously, that's basically $16, but they see the $15.90. And it's the trick of like, oh, you're not paying that much. Like, it's not even $16. So anyway, I made the sale. I made a profit of $8.67, and I was happy with that. On Friday, which was September 16th, I sold something on Poshmark. It was this Polo by Ralph Lauren gray full zip sweater in a size medium for men. This came from my friend who moved out of the state and just wanted to get rid of a lot of his clothes because his mom shops a lot for him. And oh my goodness, this man's clothes has been selling so much. Like, I have been selling so much of his stuff. It's insane. And not only that, but it's been selling so well. It's a lot of Polo Ralph Lauren, but even like some brands that I was like, I don't know how this is going to do. That stuff has been selling really well too. And he really was just going to give me all of this stuff for free because he was moving. He didn't want to take all this stuff that he doesn't wear with him. But I did give him some money because I was like, this is, you're giving me a lot of really great stuff. And, they were moving. They just had a young baby. So I was like, I'm sure every little bit can help. So I gave them, a bunch of money for all of this stuff. And it probably came out to like $2 a piece. So this sold for $36 with discounted shipping because of Posh VA. They sent out an offer on my behalf. I'm saying I had $2 into it, so I made a profit of $25.08. And in the coming weeks, you're going to hear about a lot more sales of items that, he gave to me. I'm really thankful for all of his inventory. And the craziest thing is I am not even close to listing all of his stuff yet. Like, there's still a lot of his stuff yet to be listed. So I'm really happy to just kind of sprinkle those in here and there into my listings because they are guaranteed sales of like $30 to $50. I mean, I even sold a suit of his recently for $100. Like, I'm just so thankful. On eBay, I sold this pair of Lululemon black geometric printed leggings. They had zippered pockets. They were in a size 6. This is another sale that came as a result of someone giving me stuff. This was from my sister-in-law. She was like, I don't wear these anymore. You can try to sell them if you want. There was kind of a lot of pilling on them, but I just took a sweater shaver to them and they were like on the inside of the waistband. So it's not even a horrible spot for pilling, but I did put a little bit of effort into them and they sold for $41.90. Again, that was a sale that I made because of offers to watchers. It was promoted at 3%, and so I made a profit of $35.07. On Saturday, which was September 17th, I sold another Seattle Goodwill Bins item, and it was this pair of Ultra Lone Peak 4.5 gray Gator Trap trail running sneakers in a men's 12.5. This sold on Poshmark, and it's, I think, my second time selling Ultra. Both times, shoes by this brand, Ultra, have sold super fast and for really good money. The last pair that I sold came to me in a men's thread-up rescue box, and I feel like there was a flaw, but they still sold for like $40 to $50, I want to say, maybe 60, I don't know. This particular pair sold for $60. This is a pair of used sneakers, but they sold for $60. I had $2 into them from the Seattle Goodwill outlet, so I made a profit of $46. This is a great brand to be on the lookout for. I think especially in the bigger sizes for men. They're really well known for having like a wide footbed, so it's especially good for people who have wider feet. I did have one Facebook Marketplace sale this week, and it was a really good one. It was this Talbot's purple wool blend reversible button-up jacket in a size 6 petite. I got this in that same women's 100-pound bulk mixed rescue box. I don't know, there's so many words in the name of that box, but I remember I pulled this out of the box and I was like, I don't know what this is. Like, it doesn't look that good, blah, blah, blah. And because it was reversible, like, it was kind of hard to find the tag. But then I found the tag inside one of the pockets. That's usually where you'll find the tag if something is reversible. And that's when I realized that it was Talbot. And that's when I realized that it was made of a wool blend. I looked up comps before I listed it, obviously. And comps were a little bit all over the place. And they weren't very high. There were some that had sold for like $20, $30. I don't know why. I just took a chance and kind of listed mine a little bit higher than everyone else's was. Maybe because mine was the only one in this size. I listed it for $40 and I didn't expect it to sell, for that $40, but surprisingly on Facebook Marketplace, I had someone just buy it outright. I only had $2 into it. I made a profit of $35.54. Sometimes, even if yours is priced the highest, if you have the best pictures, which I really believe that I did because I used an app, I want to say it's called Layout. It's just like a free app through Instagram, I think, that allows you to make like collages and stuff. So I used this app to show both sides of the jacket, what it looked like if you turned it inside out, front and back. So I showed, 4 pictures as the cover photo. So I think that I had really good pictures that depicted what this jacket looked like and its functionality as far as the inside outness of it was concerned. And I also think mine was the only one in this size. So for those reasons, I think it was able to sell for a little bit higher than the other jackets of this same style had sold for. Don't be scared to price things up, especially if you know you have great pictures, if you know that yours is the only one in that size. It might sell for that higher price and you might be setting a new comp for it. The next day of sales that we'll talk about is September 18th, which was a Sunday. On Poshmark, I sold this pair of new with tags Torrid Noir collection black Ponte trousers in a size 26 short. These sold for $23, which wasn't a whole lot. I don't know. I don't personally sell Torrid for a ton, so maybe I could have held out for a higher price, but I was like, I just want to move them. I had $3.92 into them because they were part of that wholesale pallet, so I made a profit of $14.48. I'd rather move those quickly than sit on them forever and ever and ever waiting for the perfect Torrid buyer to come along. I do think Torrid is pretty saturated on reselling platforms as well. Some people still swear by being able to sell them for a ton. I just have not found that to be the case when it comes to Torrid. On eBay, I sold this Athleta gray strappy racerback padded sports bra in a size large. I don't pick up a lot of sports bras, but, to sell to this week, maybe I will pick them up more often and actually spend some time in the sports bra aisle. These didn't sell for nearly as much as the Lululemon pair that I talked about earlier, but they sold for $19.90, and I only had $2 into them because they came to me from the Seattle Goodwill outlets when I went this past summer when I visited my parents. To be honest, I didn't get a lot of clothes at the Goodwill outlets. I mainly picked up shoes, but this was one of the clothing pieces that I got because, let's be real, it didn't actually cost $2 for this particular item. I probably had like 40 cents into this because it was so lightweight, but I'm saying that I had $2 into it and my profit on that was $11.33. The next thing to sell was this J. Crew pair of white Ashbury flare high-rise jeans in a size 29. These sold for $25. I do believe there was a flaw. I think there was a mark on them somewhere. I only had $2.52 into them from the local consignment store when I shopped their birthday sale and stuffed stuff in a bag and, only was charged $25 per bag. And so I made a profit on those jeans of $17.99. I don't typically pick up a lot of J. Crew denim, but I knew that these were a newer style because there is a tag underneath the care tag usually on J. Crew clothing that tells you the year of when the item came out. So if it's like pretty new, within the last couple years, then I'll pick up J. Crew. But usually if that's not the case, I'll leave it behind because J. Crew is another brand that's pretty heavily saturated online. And I get a lot of it for free from friends when they give me stuff. So I usually have a lot of J. Crew, don't need to pick it up at thrift stores for, the price that they're trying to charge for it. The next thing that sold was this pair of John Joseph Houndstooth Kitten Heel Pointed Toe Ankle Boots in a size 9B. I just thought these were really cool. They definitely reminded me of Gwen Stefani. I picked them up at a Goodwill in the Chicago suburbs near where my in-laws live. I had them listed pretty high. I want to say for like $60 or $75. I sent out offers to watchers on them for $49.90. And I think I sent them out for so little because I already had a sale running, but I just wanted to get them moved. I did have them listed for a good number of months, and so I was like, you know what, I probably have them priced too high. Let's try sending offers. They were also promoted at 3%, and I did have $14.99 into them from that Goodwill. I still made a profit of $24.04, and I was happy with that. They did also have a couple flaws, like some yellow stains on one of the boots, and then like the toe of one of the boots, the fabric upper was kind of, I don't know, not like undone, but there was a flaw to it, you could tell. So for those reasons, I was happy to move them at the price that I did and get the profit that I did. The last sale that we'll talk about is another pair of shoes. This was a pair of CVs, a collaboration that they did with Trina Turk. It was this pair of floral Jardin de Paris legend sneakers in a size 8. This was not a great pickup, and I knew that going in because I looked up comps even while I was at the store, but it was just one of those, like, they were too cute. I just wanted to pick them up. I thought they were really fun. I picked them up at a local consignment store for $9, and they only sold for $20, so my profit on these was $6.38. But I don't have a problem picking up some things just because they're cute and because I don't want to leave them behind. I don't have a problem doing that, and I'm okay admitting that out loud. So, for this week of sales, on Poshmark, I sold 11 items for a gross sales amount of $313. Once you factor in Poshmark's fees, that total drops to $235.41. That also includes discounted shipping. My cost of goods for those 11 items was $38.70, and so my net profit from those 11 items was $196.71. On eBay, I sold 13 items, and I had a gross sales amount of $396.28. Once you factor in shipping and eBay's fees, that total drops to $313.56. My cost of goods for eBay was much higher than Poshmark's at $66.85, but I did also have a greater net profit on eBay than I did Poshmark at $246.71. That's one of the reasons I cross-list to a bunch of different platforms. I don't rely on what typically is my best-selling platform, which is Poshmark, because some weeks like this, I do much better on a platform like eBay than I do on Poshmark. I've even had weeks where I do better on Mercari than I do Poshmark, and I like to spread the love on a bunch of different platforms for that very reason. And I do that using a cross-listing software called List Perfectly. And if you want to learn more about it, I do have a ton of videos about List Perfectly, and I do have a coupon code as well. It's Becky Park, and it helps you save 30% off of your first month if you want to just try it out, see if you like it, and if not, you can cancel, or just try it out with like their free trial period of, I want to say it's like 3 days or it's 2 weeks. I don't know, it's something, but you can try it out for free for a little bit too, see if it's for you. I do swear by it because I've used it for so long and I use it every single day. Definitely one of my must-have tools as a reseller. On Mercari, I sold 4 items for a gross sales amount of $92. Once you factor in Mercari's fees, that total drops to $78.93. My cost of goods for those 4 items was $11.03, and so I made a net profit of $67.90. On Facebook Marketplace, I sold 1 item for a gross sales amount of $40. Once you factor in Facebook Marketplace's fees, that total drops to $37.54. I had $2 into the item, so my net profit on that jacket was $35.54. So in total, I sold 29 items, and that was for a gross sales amount of $841.28. Once you factor in shipping and fees, that total drops to $665.44. My cost of goods for those 29 items was $118.58, and so my net profit for the week was $546.86. That's not too shabby, given that it was my birthday week and I was, not super focused on reselling. I was doing birthday things, and, it's been busy at work and stuff. I don't know. I feel like even though I took away musical theater from my plate of responsibilities at work, I feel like I just fill that time with putting more energy and effort into what I'm doing in the classroom and what I'm doing with a cappella. So I don't know. I mean, I am still saving a lot of time, let's be honest, but also like my kids' lives are busier. I feel like I'm forever driving kids to swim lessons or gymnastics or different things like that. But you know what? I'm really happy with my life. I'm really happy with what's going on at work. I'm really happy just to have more time at home to spend with kids. And I don't know, I've been really happy lately, and that's a really good feeling. It's a good feeling to feel like you're getting the most out of life. So I'm happy with the sales week that I had. I'm hoping that I'm going to find time to catch up on my What Sold videos. I just continue to be behind, but I don't know, at some point we'll be talking about the same month of sales, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I so enjoy making these videos for you and hanging out and even just like revisiting the things that sold. I don't know why. It's so fun to do that and to talk about these things and talk about where they came from and the little stories that go with them. Some people don't like my What Sold videos for that reason, but if you are a regular viewer and if you are still here for these kinds of videos, thank you so much. I appreciate you. So that is it for today's video. I will see you guys in the next one, and thanks for watching. Bye!